If there's been a fatal injury, a death resulting from a car accident claim in Newfoundland or Labrador, there's accident benefits available for the survivors. So we'll walk through those benefits here. First off, there's a $10,000 payment made to the head of household or the spouse of the head of household, depending on who was injured and ended up passing away. There's also a $2,000 dependent payment for those that qualify. So let's talk about who qualifies for the death benefit under a Newfoundland and Labrador accident policy. First, a spouse. They've classically enhanced this definition to reflect modern day. A spouse is somebody who is married or someone who has lived together with the deceased for at least 1 year. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean living directly together. And there's a whole bunch of different marital situations which may arise, but obviously we're trying to assess people that are living together or cohabiting, have a close relationship in order to qualify as a spouse under the policy. Next, we have the definition of dependent, and it's important to appreciate the various caveats within the test for a dependent. So you can see first that there's two dividing lines. There's people under 19 years old and folks that are older than 19. So if you're under 19, you just have to live at home and depend on the head of household or their spouse for financial support. If you live at home and you depend on financial support, which would be most people under the age of 19, then you'll qualify as a dependent and you'll get the payment. If you're over 19, the test is a little harder to meet. You have to have a mental or physical infirmity and a requirement for financial support. That's the first test, so that's a health-based test. And then the second one is if you're attending an academic program, so that could be a university, college, trade, what have you. If you're doing that on a full-time basis and you depend on financial support, you'll also qualify as a dependent. It's important that you appreciate everyone who may fall within the test of dependent before you talk to the insurance company about the claim, so you know what you're entitled to. Let's move on to what to do. Now, you give notice to the insurance company about the claim, about the accident, about the fatality, and who's entitled to bring a claim. You want to make sure that you provide them notice immediately because they have 30 days to make a payment to you. Now, what's important to understand is accident benefits and the death benefit under a Newfoundland and Labrador auto insurance policy, that's a no-fault benefit. Doesn't matter if you're 100% at fault, 0% at fault, or a mix. It's no fault. But economic losses, so a loss to the earning capacity, a loss to the estate, so if the deceased can't earn anymore because they passed away and other people are going to be affected by this, that economic loss claim you have to bring as a legal claim. Accident benefits is limited in its scope. It provides a baseline of benefit, but not everything. So you may need to bring a legal claim against the at-fault party to recover economic losses to the estate that will be lost or have already been lost due to the fatal injury. So just like in an injury claim for someone who's still alive, they have pain and suffering, maybe they're off work and they have wage loss or they will lose wages into the future, this is the same in a fatal injury circumstance, but the recourse is different and it requires a legal claim. This is a complex area of law. You're going to want to have your questions answered by a lawyer who practices in the area of fatal injury claims from car accidents. Nova Injury Law handles these claims. If you have questions about it, just ask. We deal in this area of practice every day. It's so easy for us to give you answers. So if you're sitting there with questions, just write us or call us and we'll give you the answers that you need. All the best.